Hey, what's up people? Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about how you can get more funding from a school through negotiation. Yes, you can negotiate for more cash from any school. So if you're interested in this kind of video, make sure you keep watching. So guys, if you've applied to more than two schools, or you're planning to apply to two schools at very least, you can negotiate. You can ask for more cash and negotiate with a different school. So that's what I'll be teaching you how to do in today's video. So guys, there are some ground rules. There's some things you need to do before you can even think about negotiating for more funding, with two or more schools. So there are some things you must have in place. So let's talk about those things first before we talk about how you can negotiate. So first things first is you must apply to similar schools. Don't go apply to a small program and apply to one top number one program in the world and think you can negotiate. That is not a winning strategy. That's not anything that can work. Make sure you apply to similar schools. So this is how it works, and this is why I say think about the money from the beginning. Before you even apply to any school, think about, how am I going to fund this program? If I get into this school, where will I get the money? Where will I get the cash? And this is why that is important. So let's say you are that person, you're thinking of applying to 5 programs or 3 programs, right? Good. If you're applying to, say, 5 programs, make sure at least 2 of those programs are schools that are kind of similar at a similar level. There's no agreed metric for saying 2 schools that are around the same level, but we all know you can use rankings, you can use different things to determine, I do believe these 2 schools are similar, right? So make sure you apply to at least 2 programs that are kind of on the same level. You can even apply to 3 programs that are on the same level, and then you apply to one very top program or one very, what you call your safety school, making 5, right? That's a good plan. So those 3 programs that are kind of at the same level are the programs you want to kind of negotiate with. So that's sort of what we're talking about. So, but if you are that person that plans to apply to one school, sis, bro, this video is not for you. Because if you're applying to only one school, you cannot negotiate. Really, what are you negotiating with? What is your I guess negotiating instruments, or on what basis are you negotiating? So if you're applying to one program, this is not a strategy that works for you. But if you're applying to at least 2 programs, this is a strategy that will work for you. But you must apply to 2 programs or 3 programs or more that are at the same level, or that are similar schools. Not one school is top program and the other school is not even mid-tier. It's a lot smaller than the other one. You cannot sort of negotiate, basically. Of course, you can use the top school one if you get a lot of money to negotiate with the small school, but that's not what we're talking about here. Apply to at least 2 programs that are on the same level. So that said, we move on to the next thing. So another thing you must have, or you must make sure is in place for you, is you must get funding from at least one school. I know that is not within your control, but that's how this whole strategy will work. You must get some funding. It doesn't have to be full funding. It doesn't have to be anything. Some scholarship or some other funding option or opportunity from at least one school. Say you apply to 5 schools. We've been using the example of someone applying to 5 schools. You must get funding from at least one of those schools that are similar. That is another thing. If you don't get funding from any of those schools, you cannot use this negotiation strategy that we're talking about in this video. Another thing is you must have admission offers around the same time. So if you're thinking of negotiating, and let's say you are applying to programs that have 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round, right? Some programs do that. Some call it fall, spring, and all of that. Spring cycle, fall cycle, and all of that. They call it different names, but let's use 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round to make things simple in this video. The thing is, you must apply to these programs. We're talking about 2 or 3 programs or schools that are around the same level. You must apply to the 3 of them at the same, you must get admission offers from the 3 of them at the same time. Don't apply to school A for the fall and apply to school B for spring and expect to negotiate with those two schools. That's not how it works, because school B will not wait for you to get your admission or response or whatever from school A. So you want to make sure that these three schools will likely make decisions. Many schools kind of tell you like their decision dates and all of that. You want to make sure these three schools will likely make their decisions around the same time. So you will have admission offers from the three schools around the same time, because you need offers to negotiate. So if you have an offer from one school but you've not heard back from the other two schools, this doesn't work for you basically. So make sure you apply to these three schools around the same cycle. Don't apply for one in the spring for the spring cycle and one for the fall cycle, or one in first round, one in fourth round. That's not how this works. You need to make sure you apply around in the same round, so you can get all your admission letters or admission offers around the same time. So if you have those three things I've mentioned all sorted out, like you've applied around the same cycle or round, you've also applied to at least two programs, and you've gotten funding from at least one of these programs. If those three things are sorted out for you, then now let's talk about how you actually do this negotiation. How do you negotiate with these different schools? So we have to use examples again. You guys already know these examples make the conversation easier. So let's think about three schools: school A, school B, school C. So school A, so for these three schools, you need $100,000. Just using examples. You need $100,000. Let's say all these three schools cost exactly the same thing. Overly simplified, but follow me, right? So you need $100,000 for any of the schools you choose. That's the cost of attendance. Now, school A offered you admission and provided $40,000 in scholarship. School B offered you an admission and provided $30,000 in scholarship. School C offered you admission and $10,000 in scholarship. Now you have a school that's provided $40K, $30K, and $10K. But the thing is, you need $100K for any of those options you choose. If you choose school A, you need $100K. School B, you need $100K. C, you need $100K. But these schools have basically given you different things. So even maybe school C didn't even give you anything. Let's say $0. Still the same concept, right? So let's go with the $40,000, $30,000, and $10,000 from school C. So what you want to do is start with school A and B. School A gave you $40,000. School B gave you $30,000. So you need to start with school A and B. You need to go to school B that gave you $30,000. That is your starting point, and say, and people negotiate all the time. So don't think this is a bad thing or anything. We all negotiate job offers every day. So you should negotiate your admission offers. But a lot of international students don't even know that they can negotiate funding, with schools. This is something that your classmates abroad are doing. So the earlier you learn these things, the better for you. Don't leave any money on the table. You have a right to ask for more, and don't feel ashamed to ask for more. But let me not digress, because this is one thing I care a lot about, and I can talk a whole day about how you should ask for more, and also share my experience, and also my experience working with different students. So here's the point: you will start with school B. School B is the school that has provided $30,000. You go to school B basically saying, I really appreciate what you've provided, but I'll need more cash. At the end of that email, you also say, I have other admission offers that look more interesting, that where I have more funding from them. Although I want to come to your program because this school B is like the program I really want. I really need the numbers to work. Basically, something like that. I'll talk about an example later in this video. That's what you need to send to school B. So school B is your starting point. School B will likely respond saying, can you send us proof that you have more funding from another school? And that is where school A comes in. I told you start with school A and B. So now that is where school A comes in. You will go get the offer letter from school B and send it to school A. What typically happens is school A will get back to you saying yes, they are willing to increase your funding from $30,000 to say $50,000. Usually the minimum they will offer is that $40,000 that school A has provided, but likely they will give you $50,000. So now there's no guarantee, of course, but I'm just telling you what typically happens, and it works a lot of time. Also depends on like when you apply and things like that, but that's story for another day. Now school B will likely say, okay, since you have something from school A that is $40,000, we will give you $50,000. Basically they've added $20,000 to the cash they gave you before. So now you have school B giving you $50,000, you have school A giving you $40,000, and you have school C still at $10,000. What you need to do is go back to school A or C now. Now you started with school A and B. Now you're going to school A and C. You're going to write to school A and C at the same time saying, hey, I would love to attend, but I don't have money because of this situation I'm going through and all of that in my life. If you genuinely just don't have money, or things have changed in your country and you just don't have this cash, you will explain. Of course, you have to be considerate in your email and kind and stuff like that. You will now go to school A and school C and write them at the same time, basically saying, hey, I want to come to your program, but I can't, I've been unable to raise the funds I need, and I also have one school that has given me more funding than you guys have provided. School A and C will do the same thing. They will ask you for proof, and now you will send them the $50,000 letter. You are not sending them the initial school B letter of $30,000. No, you're sending them the $50,000 letter saying school B has offered me $50,000. What will happen is school A will likely offer you 60, and school B may say, well, it's only 10,000 we have, maybe we can offer you 30. At that point, you know that maybe school C is the school you should drop if you're just thinking solely based on like financial, if the financial issues or financial offerings those schools provide. Now you have school A offering you $60,000 and school B offering you $50,000, and this is how many people at some point they even get up to like 70k just through this negotiation process. So that's what you can do, and go back to the school multiple times. So you can also go back to school B again, but of course you need to know how to write the right emails. You just can't like say give me money because another school has given me money. They don't care about you that way. So there's a way to write the email, and that's something you need to consider. But the point of this is you need to know you can ask for more funding, and you can have this like emailing back and forth, providing evidence from one school, using it to get more money from another school, going back to another school, using it to get money from that school as well, until you get to a point where you feel like those two schools have provided all they can, they've increased, and now you need to make a decision on like which one you will go for based on everything you know about the school and everything they've provided, like the financial support each school has provided. So that's how this works. Even throughout this negotiation process, you will begin to find a lot more funding opportunities that the school can provide. So if the school really wants you to join, they will also say, hey, we don't have this much money, but if you join in maybe a year from now, we can sign you up for this other funding opportunity that will open up, or we can hire you as a graduate assistant and cover everything. They will begin to suggest options, but please try not to make a decision based on promises. That's something that I found to be very important advice, especially when you're dealing with like schools abroad and everything. Make sure you read the letters of like their response very well. Don't make your decision based on promises. I'd rather you make the decision based on what they're offering you today and what you think you can get in future, but don't make your decision solely on those promises. But anyway, that's how this whole negotiation thing works. you use your admission offer and funding from one school to get more from another school, and you do that until you can reasonably make a decision. So all of that said, let's now talk about how that letter should, like what that letter should look like. So guys, let's talk about how you should write that email. So first thing is you have to show a lot of excitement. In that email you're sending to the schools to ask for more cash because you have another offer from another school, you need to show excitement to join the program. They need to know that you're not just playing games, you're interested in the program, but you need financial support, but you need to show that excitement. Hi admissions team, I'm very excited at the thought of like joining your program. I'm really, the thought of joining the program in September really excites me. I've always looked forward to joining the class or joining this school. You need to start that email with excitement, like, hey guys, if not for this money, I will be in the program already. You need to kind of give them that vibe, like, what is standing between me and your school right now is cash. That's kind of how you want to sound, like, I'm so excited. So the first thing you must do in that email is to show appreciation for what you've already gotten and show some excitement. Hi team, I'm very grateful for like what I've gotten so far, or that the school has been generous to me, and I'm excited about joining the program very soon. All of that, that good stuff. So show excitement and appreciate what they've already given you, because you want to give that vibe of, if you give me this money, I'll be there, so that kind of thing. So the next thing you should do in your email is say why you're really interested in the program, like why you've always, just one line, not an epistle. So never send long emails. Nobody is in their office reading all your 5-page emails. If I can't read it on my phone, it is too long. So don't send long emails, but remind them of like why that school is a great fit for you. Just one line or 2 lines. Remember, this person you're sending it to would likely send it to the financial aid office, so you want to again sell yourself a bit more. Just a few lines, remind them why the school is like top notch for you, like the best thing for you. And then you should also talk about why you can't afford the fees. You should talk about maybe personal circumstances you're going through. You don't have to give too much detail. You don't have to share personal things, but like you can share like maybe things that are happening in your economy. So one example is, I'm from a country where the exchange rate has been, was recently devalued, or our currency has been depreciating, and so all my savings don't amount to much given the circumstance, or we're currently experiencing a recession, or you recently lost a breadwinner or something. You need to say something about that makes them kind of feel like we need to really help this person. Don't lie. That's not what I'm teaching here. Like, please don't lie. Don't say no. I don't encourage that in any way, but hey, who am I? So don't lie, but try to share a bit more about like your circumstance and why this funding is really crucial for you, why it's hard. You want to give them this vibe of like, I've tried my best to try to raise this funding, but I couldn't. So you have to have put some effort and some thoughts into that email. So don't lie, but explain that you've put in a lot of work, but you just haven't been able to raise the funding, and so you need them to really like step up for you. So that's one other thing you need to write in that email. And then you need to also mention that you have another offer towards the end of the email. Like it's like an also thing, like, guys, so you need to know that you're asking for more funding, or you're dropping that line of, hey, I also have somebody else, like, but that other offer you have should not be like the crux of your email, should not be like the most important thing in your email. You're just dropping it like, also I have another offer from another school, and they've offered me more financial support, but this school is sort of like the my dream school. I do believe there's a real fit for me in your program, but I have this offer and I would really love if you could increase the funding you've provided. And then that's the email. Looking forward to hearing from you. Not a long email, but really thoughtful email. So I've mentioned that you should show appreciation. That's the first thing. You should also show a lot of excitement and interest. That's the second thing. You should also state why you're a great fit for that school, a few lines. Then that's the third thing, you should also talk about why, or things you've done, or reasons why you can't afford the fees or the tuition and everything at this time. And then you should mention that you have another offer and that you're looking forward to hearing from them, stuff like that. Now that ends. If you don't hear from them, this is where you guys make the mistake. You need to follow up. You think they will just reply and give you more money, at once? No, you need to follow up, kind of like nudge them again at, of course, reasonable times. Don't follow up every day. Give some time for them to work on it, on your request, and get back to you, and then follow up and all of that. So you need to also follow up after some days or after a week and a half or something like that, just to remind them and get the process rolling. So guys, that's it on negotiating for more funding with schools. So I hope you learned one thing or two from this video. If you learned anything, you need to encourage your girl. Drop a comment in the comment section. So if you learned anything, just let me know in the comment section. That will really probably make my day, So let me know if you picked up one thing or two, and more importantly, if you still have questions, make sure you ask. Don't keep quiet. Just ask any questions you have. Of course, watch the video, get the information before you ask questions. Ask me questions if you still have anything you don't understand about what I've said, or if you're experiencing any challenges with negotiating or thinking about what schools to apply to. I'm happy to help. I'll go through the comments and answer your questions. But make sure you ask. And if you like today's video, if you found it helpful, if there's anything I said or did in this video that you found helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And make sure you subscribe. Also guys, y'all don't share my videos. If you have someone that will really benefit from some of these things that I talk about on this video, on this channel, make sure you share this video with them, and I will really appreciate that. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget anything you shouldn't forget. But I'll see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye.